Welcome to the Journey is the Dream podcast, brought to you by Studio 17, Top Shelf Financial, and Drippy's Gourmet Ice Cream Sandwiches.
My name is Devontae Thomas. I'm your co-host of the Journey of the Dream podcast, and I am here with my brother first and foremost, and also co-host as well, Gary Thomas. We are excited to bring this podcast to you. This very first episode, this one holds so much value for us because the family that we're going to have on building with us has had such an impact on our family, on the community that we live in, and we're excited to have them come and share the story and the legacy of their amazing son, Kyree Brown, which we're going to be bringing forth Curtis Brown and also Kenya Brown on the very first podcast. We're excited to have them.
Let's get it.
So Kenya, Curtis, welcome to the podcast. We appreciate you guys making time to come and build with us. How you guys been, by the way?
We've been good. We've been good.
Excellent.
Thanks for asking.
Absolutely. Excellent. So thanks again for coming on and building with us. I wanted to have you guys on this podcast because, I have sons now. Right. I have twin boys. I don't know if you guys know, but yeah, you guys know how it is. So every weekend we out in Orange County, travel ball. You guys know how that go. And I get the opportunity to watch them play basketball every single weekend. I love every aspect of it. And, when they're coming out of huddles, before the game is over, when the game is over, they're honoring you guys' son's legacy. They start off, they break the huddle by saying 1, 2, 3, Kyree, 4, 5, 6, Hoya Pride. And that spoke to me in so many different ways, and Gary as well, because for, 10 plus years later, we're still honoring your son's legacy and how much of an impact he's had in our community. And so I just wanted to get a chance to build and ultimately share with our viewers his legacy and the impact that he has had on so many generations that never got the good fortune to meet him. But still lives, his spirit still lives on today and making such a great impact. So first question I want to go over with you guys is, how do you guys see, with your son, his legacy still going on? What does that mean for you guys to see his legacy still, living through the youth today?
Well, it means a lot. It means a lot, to us because, when he passed, we thought people was gonna forget about him. Mm-hmm. And through the grace of Gary and your family, keeping his legacy going, it shows us that people still care. You know what I mean? Because sometimes when people pass, and especially kids, they never had a chance to really grow and build outside the community and make, network and meet people outside the community, that you feel like just their friends, once their friends grow up and they get their own families and move on, that people forget about him. You know? And, by you guys keeping his legacy alive and things like that, it definitely touches us.
Definitely beautiful. And how about for yourself, King? What does that mean to you to see your son's legacy and his spirit still living amongst, again, many kids that weren't afforded the great fortune to meet him and get to see his personality and everything that he was about? How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel good. By the grace of God, again, the new generation, they have no idea who he is, but by the grace of God, he's working through these kids, he's working through this program. And I feel very, very extremely grateful that people in the community, that you guys continue to remember who he is. It's actually 15 years now.
15 years.
Yeah. So wow. 15 years. It doesn't feel like it. It feels like yesterday for both of us.
Absolutely.
But 15 years, it's a long time, and people are still remembering who he is.
Yeah.
And that's through the community and by the grace of what you guys do.
Absolutely. Definitely. And I know how much that means to our dad to keep his spirit again embedded in everything that he's doing with his basketball platform, his tournaments down below in Orange County. Families, have come up to us in Orange County and asked, "Hey, who's Kyree Brown? What was he all about?" And to get his, his story and just how he made such a great impact in our program. So he's definitely touched so many lives. Would you agree with that, Gary?
Yeah, definitely. And I appreciate you guys for coming on and being our special guest on our first episode. Kyree is very special to me. As being a coach in the Hoyas and, bringing up kids through the basketball program, Kyree has been at our forefront, at the forefront of everything that we do, how hard we work, that all comes from him. I actually had the pleasure of seeing Kyree play when he was maybe 5 or 6, when he first signed up for what was AVAC, our rec league. And I remember the first time that there was a health scare. It was at AV high school in the small gym,
Yeah.
and I remember he was playing, and I remember you guys had to rush him out of the gym.
Yeah.
And at that time, you guys were faced, and as a family, you guys were faced with the decision of whether to continue to let him play and live out his dreams, or kind of shelter him. And you guys, continue to let him play, live out his dreams. And that just stuck with me, and that just stuck with me. One thing that I wanted to ask you guys about was his intensity on the court. Because one thing I remember about Kyree, I remember the look in his eyes. I remember intense, sharp look in his eyes, and it was came out when he played on the basketball court. Can you guys just kind of speak to the intensity that he had to the game of basketball, and how he kind of approached basketball?
He loved basketball. Oh my goodness! From the day I introduced him to where was it? The street basketball.
And one.
And one.
And one.
Yeah.
Tell him what time.
That's where it all began, right there. He was already in the league, but once I introduced him to N1, he was all in at that point.
It opened up a whole new way of looking at the game.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
like I was telling her earlier today, I remember when he was 4 years old, and I took him back. He used to go home with me, and I was going out with some old high school buddies and stuff. And I was like, living there with my sister. I was like, "Are you okay?" And he laying in the bed watching the Laker game, and I'm like, he's 4 years old. He's like, "Oh, I'm good. I'm just sit here and watch the game." I'm like, "What 4-year-old says that?" You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he was like 20 years old at that time. You know what I'm saying? I was like, "Okay, you good?" Like, "Yeah, I'm gonna sit here and watch the game. I'm good." And he always loved the game. And then once she introduced him to M1, the Sprite commercial came on. You know what I'm saying? And after that, it was then I was in a record pool, DJ record pool at the time, so we used to get the mixtapes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we would bring the M1 mixtapes home, and once he started watching those, he was all in. Because
Yeah,
then he discovered another side of basketball that you can actually have fun without it being so structured.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and I definitely remember. Sorry to cut you. I definitely remember. That being a part of his game. He had a flavor to his game, and at that time it was when N1 was just barely coming about, so it made him unique. And it made his game stick out.
Yeah.
Even when he was 5, 6, 7 years old. Like I
Absolutely.
said, I remember him distinctively. I remember seeing him on the court. I remember his game, the way he played, and I obviously remember you guys. So
Yeah.
Definitely.
When he joined AVAC, he just felt a sense of family.
Yeah.
My goodness,
It was a brotherhood.
AVAC.
He loved it, man. He was like, if he was still here, he'd be right here at this podcast
Yeah,
with y'all.
absolutely.
Believe me,
Absolutely.
that boy,
Probably
he
coaching
was-
now.
He
Yeah.
loved
Yeah.
AVAC to the fullest. I was like, man, he was like, everything was AVAC.
Everything was
He loved AVAC to the fullest because he always said that AVAC was more like street ball. Like you can, let you basically be yourself and just play it on like playing street ball
loose.
versus playing like when
Yes,
he played high school ball.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's all structured. And he's like, I love AVAC because it's like playing street ball.
Yeah. We
Absolutely.
let the kids
Absolutely.
play. We let them be themselves.
Yeah.
We let their personality shine within their game. So yeah, Kyree was definitely he was one of the best ones. He was one of the best at it.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you guys seen at a very early age that he loved the sport of basketball. That was his passion. And so my question for you is that when you guys became aware of his health condition, which was a chronic heart condition, right?
Right.
So when you guys became aware of that condition and his medical team kind of cautions you guys to go about playing sports, conservatively,
Right.
What within Kyree, if you guys had that conversation with them, what made him say, you know what, I know I need to be monitoring my health and being cautious that way, but at the same time, I want to pursue my dreams and I want to do what I love, as well. What did you guys have that conversation with him?
We had that conversation kind of many times with him because I'm a DJ and I've been a DJ since I was 12 years old. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I used to want him to be a DJ. You know what I'm saying? So I would, like I say, he was part of the record pool with me. I'd take him down to, be a record, try to get him more involved in music. He loved music. And he loved the DJing aspect. He would make little mixtapes and take them to school and sell them and stuff like that.
Man.
Put his business coat on. I was like, "What you got a blazer on for?" He said, "Dad, it's good for business." You know what I'm saying? I'm like, he in like fourth grade or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I was trying to get him more to be a DJ,
Right.
Because I know it was like less, physical and and that type of thing. But it's just like it was in him. It was just something that was in him. I mean, because even when dating back when he was like 2 or 3. You know how you go to the video games and they had the little basketball thing. He loved. That's all. The only thing he'd sit there and play. At the arcade all day. He just sit there and throw the basketball in the hoop thing.
Yeah.
And that was just always just been his passion. I couldn't. We tried to get him away from it, but it was just because when he had a phase when we kind of let him go through everything, skateboarding. You know what I'm saying? Different little things, golf. He was like, I can't. He was like, she was like.
I told him, even Snoop plays golf. He was like, I don't care what Snoop plays.
Yeah.
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 He didn't like golf.
Yeah, he didn't like
Absolutely.
that was it. That was just his passion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So he always expressed that.
Okay.
Yeah, and with him playing in the Hoyas, I mean, obviously, he gained some lifelong friends. Some friends that, even our past Hoyas, and that's the great thing about it is, our past, it's a brotherhood.
Yeah.
It's a brotherhood.
Always
So
been.
unfortunately, we had the passing of Andre last year, but our brotherhood of the Hoya brotherhood comes together. In good or bad times.
Right.
Can you guys just speak to the friendships made while playing basketball and what his friends at the Hoyas kind of meant to him?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was like he always said that too. It was a brotherhood.
Yeah,
It's like and everybody in the Hoyas, from the coaches to the people who kept the scores, to the people who kept all the stats. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That was his family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he looked at everybody, Darren and Ezekiel and Sias and Tyrone and he all them guys he looked at as a family. You know what I'm saying? And so when we went to the to the games, that was his family.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
He didn't have siblings, so
No.
Yeah. Only child.
yeah,
Right.
Wow.
he
Right.
had no siblings. So Andre, of course,
Yeah.
their whole family was his siblings.
Mhm.
Ezekiel, Darren, like he said, those were his siblings.
Yeah.
And he didn't need any brothers or sisters
Yeah.
because he had
And
the entire Hoya
Absolutely.
organization.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you just don't know how much that meant to him.
Absolutely.
He slept Hoya.
Yeah.
He breathed Hoya.
Mhm.
That was his life.
Right.
So he's not here anymore, but I think he did good.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that was
Just
what he was
Calling.
here for.
Yeah.
He was
Right.
called for.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I really do
Definitely.
believe
Right.
that. And even like you were talking about his team, his medical team, his physician, his cardiologist even said, I can sit you on the couch
Mm-hmm.
and you can still go just sitting on the couch, but I would rather not do that. I would rather let you do what you want to do.
Right.
And then if you do go, you went doing what you wanted to do. And
Absolutely.
that's what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
He loved-
And do you think
he loved the game.
was that a positive impact on him? How did he respond to his care team, not putting the red tape around him and kind of shutting him down as a kid? Did that have a positive impact on him, maybe mentally speaking?
It did.
It
He
definitely
was
did, because he was depressed.
He was
Because
extremely depressed. And
Okay.
He couldn't play.
yeah,
Yeah.
So that had a very positive impact. Was he scared? Yeah.
he was scared.
He
Yeah,
was scared.
but
Okay.
he had because he had a scare, second scare after that.
Okay.
Like Gary was talking about when he was younger, and then he had that second scare where he actually passed out. What was you guys at on one of the tournaments?
Okay.
And
West Covina.
West Covina. Okay.
And I was at work. My wife was there, and I remember her telling me he was gone.
Wow.
She said she came down and she held him and she said, "No, God, not today."
Yeah.
And he came back.
Okay.
And then we talked to him, and he said, "I seen the light." As he told us. He told us. He said everything. He said, "I wasn't scared, and I seen the light." And he told us that.
Yeah.
And after that, he wanted to get baptized.
Okay.
And so luckily he did get baptized before
Yeah.
he passed.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
Beautiful. That's beautiful. So I do have a question that's kind of more lighthearted. Obviously Kyree was an avid basketball player. I would like to ask you guys if he was still here today, what do you think his go-to basketball move would be, and who do you think in today's game
He was a
that
good
he
point
kind of
guard.
models his game? Who do you think in the NBA game kind of remind you of how he played?
Kyree personally, he really didn't model not one player.
Yeah.
Because I mean, he was just clean, just barely 15 years later, we're just really
Barely.
cleaning out
Still
his
cleaning.
room. You know what I'm
Uh-huh.
saying? And he had books that I could show you, man, how the game began.
Mhm.
He studied the game.
Yeah.
You know, he would buy videos of Shaq's position. He would buy videos of everybody's different positions, so he know how to play different positions, and he know what the other person's responsibilities was to do. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he been doing this since he was like what 8, 9, but 10,
No,
buying
about
them. Yeah, about 6 or 7. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was blind. He was like, say, he would read the books, and he'd be able to tell you how basketball began. I can show
Wow.
you. I got some books for you guys, man, that you
Yeah.
would just be
So
like,
he was a student for
oh,
sure.
Yeah,
of the game.
yeah, he was
That's
studying. He
awesome.
would like say he watch his videos,
Yeah.
and
If he
he
had to model, it would probably be Kobe.
yeah.
Okay.
Kobe or
Okay.
LeBron.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I see
More than
Kobe
likely,
for sure. I
Yeah.
see he had a Kobe mentality for
Yeah.
A
sure.
lot of Kobe stuff and a
Absolutely.
lot
Like
of,
LeBron,
lot
like
of
LeBron,
stuff.
like
Okay.
Kobe and like LeBron, yeah.
Okay.
High school
Yeah.
stuff from LeBron and Kobe.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
definitely good.
And so, do you guys recall of any stories? Obviously, I know my dad was also a part of erring on the side with you guys being conscious and letting him, go out there and play as much as he wanted to. Do you guys have any stories of maybe him giving him pushback, like, "Coach, let me play, let me, be out there and just be with my teammates"? Or
No, I mean, most of the time, that's why I started coaching.
okay,
You know what I mean, because I know he wanted to play so bad, and I was like, okay, if you're gonna play, then I'm gonna coach so I can monitor and I can watch you.
right,
You know what I'm saying? So I can see when he gets tired. I can see when it's time to sit him down.
yeah,
Because he always had the fear of once he sit down, he's not gonna go back in. So I said,
Yeah.
that way you can monitor your body, and when you ready to come out. Because I'll get you back in the game. I'm the coach. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
yeah,
So
yeah.
I said, don't ever be
I
afraid to
remember
come
that.
out, but I don't want you to overdo it.
Yeah.
And so he what was I gonna say? I just went blank there for a second. But yeah, he what was
No, so to the point. So I was just asking if, which I think you spoke to it. The relationship, the player and coach relationship
Yeah.
with my dad. I know my
Yeah.
dad was very cautious and wanting them
Oh,
to
yeah,
put him
yeah,
out there,
yeah.
but at the same time also encouraging them to go
Yeah,
out there and
and
play
watch
because
his
he
body.
helped the team. He wasn't just
Yeah.
out there just running up and down the court. The guy had game.
Yeah.
And I remember. My dad, I was, because I was growing up in the program at that time. So I remember my dad telling him, Kyree, don't overdo it, man. If you get tired, you better tell me.
Yeah.
You better tell me, and you sit down and again, like you said,
Yeah.
we'll get him back in. And so
Yeah.
I know that was kind of the relationship, but I also know he wanted to be out there as
Yeah.
well.
Your dad,
It-
your dad said, Kyrie, why don't you sit down?
Uh-huh.
Maybe you can be a coach.
Yeah.
He didn't want to.
He didn't want to be a coach.
He
He wanted
said,
to
he
play.
said he
Yeah.
told him if life makes him be a coach, then that's one thing, but he wants to play.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
And-
he never. Your dad was a really good coach.
Yeah,
He always
appreciate
wanted to
it.
play for your dad.
Yeah.
He loved playing for Todd. But he never. Your dad would give him a play or tell him what he needs to do, but Kyrie never talked back.
Yeah.
He was just a very, very good kid.
Yeah.
Very good kid.
Yeah.
But he really admired your dad
Yeah.
a lot.
Absolutely. That's cool. I know how much my dad admires him as
Yeah.
well. And again, just you see it on the year-to-year basis. You guys obviously got the opportunity to go down to his annual tournament that we do in his honor, the Kyree Brown tournament that happens every April. And again, the kids, they keep that spirit and that his legacy alive in just different routines of coming out of huddles, after a player gets the MVP, whatever the case may be. But my question for you guys, outside of with the basketball, do you guys do anything, any other outlets of keeping his legacy alive on the year-to-year basis that you guys do as a family?
It's been really hard for me.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still hard.
Yeah,
it's
Tough.
kinda,
I can
As much
imagine.
as
Yeah.
I want to do anything else, I've having a tough time.
yeah.
Okay.
Because even like when it first happened, she always wanted us to put together something. You know what I'm saying? But every time we try to move in that direction, it's just
It's
super
tough.
hard.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because so sometimes you kind of like try to veer away from it just so you can
Yeah.
kind of deal with it.
Absolutely. And again, this isn't, a child that was well into adulthood. This was you guys' number one only child and your baby at that. He was so young, when he did transition. So I can understand that for sure.
Yeah, and and that's why we kind of take the mantle of making sure that we keep his name strong and keep making sure that the generations that come up, at least under the Hoya banner and the AVAC banner, know about Kyree. We definitely want to introduce all of the players to you guys and let them know, because at least for me, I've been in the program for quite some time, and I've pretty much raised kids on that model. Right. So it's important for me for them to know, because we've been fortunate enough to grow the program and do more things for the kids. And they, like you said, they kind of forget, you kind of forget, or you kind of think that things started with you. And it's like, no, we stand on the shoulders of, of great people and great players, that's allowed us to, still keep that uniform on and still allow our kids to keep playing. So I appreciate you guys for coming out, on the podcast and, sharing this time with us. Yeah. I do just have one more question that I want to squeeze in for you guys. If, Kyree was here today, what words of wisdom do you think he would give to the current Hoyas that are, were currently in his position and currently playing and chasing their dreams? What words of wisdom do you guys think that he would have?
His favorite word was never judged.
Yeah.
He never judged. Yeah. He's like, and he told me that. He taught me that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm the adult. I'm supposed to be teaching him that, but like the Sunday before he passed on that Tuesday. And the Sunday before he passed, we went to Easter program right here on Lancaster Boulevard down at the event center down there. Yeah. And when we was getting out the car, it was some kids that was like dressed like, just like they was outside playing, skateboarding, you know what I'm saying? Like kind of like dirty, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And when we was going into the program, everybody dressed, people that's going into the program dressed up nice. And, I asked Kyree, I said, I don't think they going into the program, do they? He said, looked at me and said, Dad, don't judge.
Right.
And I like, no, I'm not judging. He said, Dad, don't judge. And I like, okay. I said, yeah, you're right. I said, you're right. And what was crazy, when we sat down, they actually the kids ended up sitting right beside us.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I'm saying? That was God's way of showing us that, that was always his motto. He never judged anybody. He never talked about nobody. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Even if he might have thought something, you would never know. You know what I'm saying? Right. He kept it to himself.
Yeah. So for the players, I think what he's saying, or how he felt, is don't judge the player how they play. Judge them by their heart. Yeah. So it's the heart of the game. Yeah. It's not how they play. They may not be able to dribble. They may not be able to shoot. Yeah. But it's what's here.
What's in their heart and their character.
They may not be able to be the best player, but it's where your heart is. If you have a heart for the game, you can go a long way. And that's how he was. He had a heart for the game. He didn't start out being the best player. No. Yeah. He did a lot to become a good shooter, because he was a good. For me, a 3-point
he was a great shooter.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And we taught him that, because he could not be a player that can run up and down the court.
Right.
He had to be somebody that can do other things in the game. So I think that was his intentions too.
Yeah. Definitely.
He had to tell any new player something, any of these kids something. It's just to have the heart.
Right.
If you have the heart, you can go a long
You can go very far. And that will carry you very far.
It
Absolutely.
Will carry you far.
Yeah, definitely. And so my last question for you, did you guys see with his teammates? I know he had a really, really good relationship with Andre Stewart. Rest in peace, by the way. Did you see with his teammates, how well they embraced him, and then also how well, obviously Kyree embraced his teammates, and that relationship was forged? How was that? Obviously him coming up, having a disability, but at the same time, as kids, they wrapping their arms around him and letting him know that he's going to be okay and that he still belongs to the brotherhood. Did you guys see that?
Yeah. What was
initially? He was nervous.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was nervous because he had scars.
Yeah.
He had scars on his chest, and he was not very comfortable with showing that side of him.
Right.
Not showing the vulnerable side of him.
Right.
But once he was able to, the kids embraced it.
Yeah.
The way that came about was one day we had went on a tournament. I think it was Vegas, or it was Vegas, and we was all in the hotel, and all the kids wanted to go swimming, and he wanted to go, but he really didn't want to go because he didn't want the kids to see his scar. Yeah, right. And I told him, I said, look, man, sooner or later they're gonna have to see it. So go out there. I said, they're gonna ask you questions, but just once you get out there, once they ask a question, it's gonna be over with. And so he came out, him and Lil Dre, they got in the pool with the rest of the kids, and he was kind of like doing like this. And I said, let your hands down, man. Don't, just let it happen. Yeah. And he let his hands down, and Byron and all the kids came over, and it's like looking at him like, what's wrong? They're like, man, what's that? And he told me, he said, I had a heart condition. I had open heart surgery when I was a kid. And they are like, wow. And they looked. The next thing you know, they went to playing, and they just totally forgot all about it. And after that, that's when he realized those was his brothers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And
Definitely.
it speaks to the Superman in him that he went through something that most kids don't go through. And he overcame his fears of revealing a scar like that.
Yeah.
And just being a kid. And wow, that's amazing. It's a great story of just overcoming. You know, most kids, or any kid for that matter, shouldn't have to, right?
Yeah,
and obviously God's in control, but shouldn't have to overcome such a battle like that at a young age. And so for him to have the mental fortitude and obviously the support from his parents that he could overcome, you know, that insecurity, it just speaks to you guys as parents, and also, you know, to his resilience as a young man. And that's one thing we remember in his honor is how resilient, you know, he was as a young man. So definitely, I appreciate you guys coming on this podcast and sharing this story. Like I said, Kyree's legacy is still remembered in this community, not just the basketball program, the Antelope Valley at large. His story has traveled all the way down to, you know, all around Southern California, out in Orange County, and families come up to the staff over at AVAC, and they ask all the time, every year, who is Kyree Brown? What is Kyree Brown about? And it gives us the opportunity to keep his story alive. There's kids, my sons, right? Kids that were at his age or even older that are still saying his name, recognizing him, be it they know his story or they don't know his story. So that's the magnitude of the impact that you guys have had in our family business and our family program. And again, that's something that we celebrate, and we just thank you guys for coming on and building and sharing this story with us on this podcast.
Getting back to one more story, I just want to have to put out there. When you guys asked about his character and his person, when he was, what grade was that? When he was protecting the dude, like fifth grade. He was about fifth grade, fifth grade, and he kept getting in trouble in school. And Kyree was not a kid to get in trouble in school. And the principal kept coming to us on it. He's fighting almost every day. You know what I'm saying? And the principal, actually, his son was in the program too at one point. So he knew us. So he said, Kurt, I don't want to have to, you know, put him out of school where he have to go. And I was like, well, I'm taught to him, you know. So I kept taking him home, like, Kyree, what's going on? And he wouldn't tell. I said, man, you can't be doing that no more. You can't be doing that. So we went to school next day, got in a fight again. Like, dude, you know what I'm saying? So my anger is building up because I'm like, look, the principal's going to kick you out, and then we're going to have to find another school. Right. And finally, we talked to the principal again, and it finally came to a halt. And when we used to ask him what's going on, he would tell us, Mom, Dad, you'll never understand. Right? Okay. And I was like, never understand. I was like, tell us, we'll understand. We'll try to understand. Right. And he's like, no, y'all will never understand. Okay. And so we left it alone. And then when it finally stopped, we just left it alone. And then years later, like I said, this was fifth grade. He passed away when he was ninth grade. And then at his wake, right? Well, not wake, the viewing. There was a young kid and his mother sitting in the back. I think his mother was Hispanic because she really couldn't speak English that good. And they were just sitting in the back the whole viewing. And then when they was getting ready to shut down everything, they sat there for like hours, you know, like a couple hours since the whole viewing. And then right when they was going to shut down everything, the little kid came up and his mom came up and said, can we go up to view the body? Right. And I said, yeah, go ahead, you know, no problem. And then so they went up and reviewed the body, and I went outside with my wife and them, and then and Andre and them, and then the little kid and his mom came over, and the little kid walked up to my wife and said, your son was a protector. Wow. And we said, huh? He said, he said, yeah, your son was a protector. He used to fight for me because I was getting bullied back in fifth grade. Wow. So all them years we never knew that's where he was fighting. He was fighting to protect this kid, and you know, keep this kid from getting bullied every day. Wow. Yeah, so he was that type of dude. Amazing. He didn't like, you know, bullies. He didn't like talking about people or anything like that. But
absolutely. And again, that's why his legacy is still, you know, just permanent here, you know, still today, because the stories like that, what he did on the court, the you know, his ability to not let his condition impact, you know, what he wanted to do. And I'll say this as we conclude. He's a legend in this program, you know, and, you know, whenever you, if you get the good fortune to play maybe pro sports or something like that, and you do well enough, you get the honor to have your jersey retired and hung up in the rafters. And over here with AVAC Hoyas, nobody is wearing number 50. His number is right here up in the rafters with us because he is a true legend, a true Hall of Famer with this program. And that's not just what he was doing on the basketball court, but that speaks to his character, that speaks to his work ethic, his again, just his ability to not let his limitations control him. And I want to even extend that out more so to you guys, because you guys didn't put all that red tape around him and make him sit on the couch and be depressed, as you guys covered earlier in the interview. So we love him. We love you guys. And his legacy is going to continue to live on, going to continue to spread to many generations. You know, even the generations that aren't here, you know, today, is still going to go on and on. So as long as we're here and we're involved in this community, we're going to keep his honor alive and or his name alive and honor his legacy. So thank you guys so much for joining this podcast. It was only right to kick this off with you guys, man. Absolutely. Love you too, man. Definitely.
Appreciate you guys.
Definitely. Love.
Appreciate everything you guys are doing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's beautiful. All right.
You're welcome. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Love
And,
you too.
and by the way, I heard, if we still shooting, I heard that when you came into our wealth management office, you liked some of the merch that we got up there with Top Shelf. So we thought it would be only right for us
Thought we'd give
to
you
get
guys,
you right.
Yeah, bless you guys. Like I said, man, no need. You guys are family, and you know, we just want to. As a token of our love and appreciation to you guys.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Again, we look forward to having you guys back on in the future, and just to continue to tell this story for many generations to come. So we look forward to doing it again.
Thanks again.
All right, excellent, excellent. All right.
Appreciate you guys. The journey is the dream.